without getting paid.
But you see how much kidnappers are picking for victims and police.
The 3% for the oil producing community is too low.
But the support that is needed, and once you get the support, your energy will blossom.
This is Nigeria. You need to give people sense of belonging.
Why will a medical doctor work for 9 months, 16 months, 19 months without getting paid?
But you see how much kidnappers are picking for victims and police.
The 3% for the oil producing community is too low.
But the support that is needed, and once you get the support, your energy will blossom.
This is Nigeria. You need to give people sense of belonging.
Good morning and welcome to Inside Nigeria, happening live from Leadership Podcast Studio. My name is Tion Joseph, and my singular goal this morning is to keep you well informed about the happenings around you. And this I intend to do by reading to you the major headlines from 5 different Nigerian dailies. So without further ado, I'll be starting with the most influential newspaper, which is the Leadership newspaper. Let's get to it. Now on Leadership this morning, the major story says, broadcast license. Editors, Serap sue PMB, NBCAs. Stations strive to meet deadline today. Now, if you are familiar with this story, the NBC gave a deadline for today. So we are saying that all the stations involved are meeting up, are trying to meet up on deadline today. And if you want to read much more about this story, you just need to hop on to page number 4, and you can have the full story right there for you. And there are some bullets here that I feel we should look at carefully. The first bullet right there says, Radio Kwara, Bono Radio, IBC, ABS meet deadline. Niger asks for extension. Now the next bullet there says, Rivers can't meet deadline, official. Now the next one says, we can't disclose stations that have paid. This is from NBC themselves. And then second to the last bullet there says, workers fear loss of jobs, beg for deadline extension. The very last bullet there says, if NBC succeeds, then 200 stations may go. That is from NUJ directly. Before we move to the next, I think there's a promo of the 2 of them that we should look at briefly. First one there says, Zenith Bank sustains growth trajectory with 17% gross earnings. You can find that story on page number 25. And the very last promo before we move to the next is terrorists. Bandits are not spirits. Military must crush them. You can find our story on page number 7. That is all we have for Leadership today. Grab your copy right now. Now we'll move briskly to the next Nigerian daily, which is The Nation. Okay, over here at The Nation, the major story says, PDP crisis. Stop bragging. Lamido tells Wiki supporters. I take that again. PDP crisis. Stop bragging. Lamido tells Wiki supporters. There's a bullet there that we should look at quickly. It says, ex-governor, force PDP Board of Trustee chairs stand on party leadership. Ex-governor, force PDP BOT chairs stand on party leadership. That is all we'll be taking from The Nation this morning. Let's move briskly to the next daily, which is the Vanguard. Over here, the Vanguard says 2023, Tinubu meets Wiki, 2 PDP governors in London. 2023, Tinubu meets Wiki, 2 PDP governors in London. Let's look at the bullets right there. The 6-horse trading to work against Atiku. Wiki playing anti-party politics. Ex-VP's camp. The next bullet says Wiki can't kill PDP. Rivers governor's man jumps PDP. I take that again. Rivers governor's man dumps PDP, moves to APC. Now, the last bullet there says BOT, Board of Trustees, to receive reconciliation panel report today. Chairman, Secretary, DFP, NAT, Chair may lose seats. That is all we have for Vanguard. Let's move over quickly to the next daily, which is this day. So on this day, we have INEC, electoral process incomplete without offenses commission. INEC, electoral process incomplete without offenses commission. And there are about 4 bullets there. We'll just run through very quickly. So Backs bill seeking establishment of electoral court asks AGF to steer clear. The next bullet there says it secured 60 convictions in 125 cases from 2015 elections. The next one says EFCC rejects bill as PLC requests reduced penalty for ballot snatching. And the very last bullet there says Bajabia electoral crimes help riggers take control of governments. That is what we have for this day. Let's move over to the next one very quickly, which is the Punch. And the Punch has a very punchy headline today that says presidential race, Tinubu, Wiki meet in UK, PDP talks wobble. Take that again. Tinubu, Wiki meet in UK, PDP talks wobble. I think this is the second time we're having this same story. I think we have this on Vanguard. Must be serious. Now let's look at the bullets there. Rivers important for 2023 election victory. Amechi lukewarm. That is from presidential candidates men. And the very last bullet there says, Wiki has not told us he is leaving PDP, but he is not in Nigeria, says Governor's Associate. Okay, I think that is all we have today on the 5. Okay, let's take the Guardian before we round up. The Guardian for the very last one. On the Guardian, it says, Wiki raises stake, leads PDP governors to meet Tinubu. Wiki raises stake, leads PDP governors to meet Tinubu. This is the third similar story from these papers this morning. And then there are just 4 bullets there that we'll take before we round up for this session. It says, Obi meets Afenifere leader at the Banjo in Lagos. Northwest states indifferent to 2023 elections over insecurity. Shetima. Soyinka, same fate ticket, controversial, ill-timed. Now the very last bullet there says, why Tinubu deserves to be the next president by Kayemo. Why Tinubu deserves to be the next president by Kayemo. That is all we have on the first edition of newspaper review this morning. Now you can go ahead on your newsstands to grab your copies. And if you need these stories and much more, you can just hop on to our website, www.leadership.ng, and you will be served. Don't go just yet, because right after this, Bode Badebo has a session, a full review session on all these stories, and you don't just want to miss it. Okay, once again, my name is Tion Joseph, and please join us again tomorrow by 10 a.m. for another session of review. Thank you very much.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688 6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Inside Nigeria, keeping you informed on what matters.
3% for the oil producing community is too low.
But the support that is needed. And once you get the support, your airline will blossom.
This is Nigeria. You need to give people sense of belonging.
Inside Nigeria, keeping you informed on what matters.
Why will a medical doctor work for 9 months, 16 months, 19 months without getting paid?
But you see how much kidnappers are taking from victims and police.
Problem with the, I think all the stakeholders in that together, and I think we get that. The 3% for the oil producing community is too low.
But the support that is needed. And once you get the support, your airline will blossom.
This is Nigeria. You need to give people sense of belonging.
Inside Nigeria, keeping you informed on what matters.
Good morning, Nigerians. Sorry we're a bit late today. Mr. Bode can't be on the show due to emergency. So you're with Francis Onyedikachuku, and on the show, I have my guest. So can you introduce yourself to the audience?
My name is Judy Ojo. I'm a development consultant, author, and public affairs analyst.
Oh. And today we'll be analyzing one of the headlines on Nigerian most influential newspaper, The Leadership. So the main headline there says, editors, Serap sue President Muhammadu Buhari, NBC as stations strive to meet deadline today. So, sir, how is this going to be like in this country? Because we've watched everything and then it seems as if Serap is not up to their duty. They've talked about suing the president on many issues, but we've not seen them act. Do you think this case will be different from other ones we've witnessed before?
Well, it's early in the day to predict. SERAP is doing what is called public interest litigation, and I'm not sure on what ground they are suing the President Muhammadu Buhari, and the NBC. I do know that there are statutes that set up the National Broadcasting Commission, and one of those statutes is that you have to pay operating license before you are allowed to transmit, and maybe every 5 years you have to renew your license. I think similar thing goes for the telecommunication companies that are operating in Nigeria. They also paid operating license, and I don't know whether they also review. They renewed the licenses. But on what basis is set up suing the federal government? I'm yet to know. But suffice to say that 2.6 billion naira debt is not chicken money, as we say in local parlance.
Yes.
That's a serious resources. And we know this administration is cash-strapped to do so many things. You talk about rising debt portfolio, huge debt profile by the federal and the state governments, and government is looking for every which way to raise revenue, including even the 5% excise duty that we are told we will be paying in the coming weeks on our telecommunications, as voice data and SMS. But essentially, I think the approach, to my own mind, the approach should not be legal or litigation. The approach is actually should be dialogue. And when you sue, litigation is perceived to be adversarial in part of in this part of the climb and this part of the world. International Press Institute, Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria, and several others have made appeals to National Broadcasting Commission to temper justice with mercy and give more moratorium to defaulting organizations. And I think that's a better approach than the way SERAP is going about it. Litigation doesn't solve all problems in this world. Litigation is time consuming. Even if you get a court order, there could be overriding court order. And while this is on, what if the licenses of these media conglomerates are withdrawn and they have to retrench staff, they have to downsize, or they have to even close shop altogether while the litigation aspect goes on? I think we should approach this from a more mature angle, which is the angle of dialogue, to say, yes, we know we have defaulted. I mean, the story is talking about some of the defaulting media organizations have actually paid up between last Friday that press release was issued, and now today is the last day that was given by the National Broadcasting Commission, and it's within its rights to revoke licenses of defaulting organizations. But I feel that we should take the approach of dialogue than the approach of litigation, because it's not everything you go to court for. Courts are, for instance, right now, courts are not in session. The judges are on vacation, except vacation judges that are sitting. And even if you are able to get a restraining order, it will just be for 7 days. If NBC decided to exercise its full authority and revoke the license of those organizations that have defaulted, it then means that there will be loss of jobs, there will be loss of income, there will be loss of business, there will be loss of even income to the federal government, because when you revoke the licenses, even those debts cannot be recovered. So I think we should just, the Socioeconomic Right Accountability Project should just temper justice with it, should mellow and allow, dialogue option to be the primary way of resolving this issue, because it's an issue between a debtor and a creditor. You are supposed to renew your operating license. You didn't do that. You have been given some 5 days of reprieve. If you can't meet it by the end of today, can we get NBC to give more time, maybe another week or two, for those who have not been able to meet the deadline of today to pay up, so that government can get its intended revenue?
But there's one right idea that said NBC, that is created to NBC, that said that they can't review names of those that have paid. Is there something fishy they're trying to hide from the public, or they're just trying to play their part of not showing classified documents about people that have paid or people that have not paid?
I think that's within the discretion of NBC to say these are organizations. NUJ is saying that about 200, or is it 300 organizations, media organizations, will be affected if NBC should wield the big stick. Although what we saw, the list we saw, is that of 52 media organizations. That was on Friday. But what I'm saying invariably is that whether the NBC decides to reveal names of those who have paid or not, it's within its discretion to disclose that information. But for those who may not meet today's deadline, I'm only appealing on their behalf to say, let's give them more time to pay. It's better to save jobs than to allow jobs to be lost. Already we are facing huge unemployment situation on our hands, arising from huge very toxic operating environment in Nigeria. Businesses like yours, possibly you are running on diesel, you are not running on generator, and it's not been very easy. This is not the best of time for many businesses. So let's give them time to pay off, rather than taking the wielding the big stick of revoking their licenses. That's where I stand.
Okay. So we've heard what our analyst said on that. So according to THISDAY, then we have the major headline there that says INEC electoral process incomplete without offences commission. Then the writer states that backs bill seeking establishment of electoral court, asks AGF to steer clear, says it secured 60 convictions in 125 cases from 2015 election. So what's your view about INEC talking about offences commission and then being involved in electoral processes?
Well, this electoral offences commission has been in the pipeline since 2008. That's when the Mohamed Lawal Uwe's electoral reform committees made suggestion that the issue around prosecution of election offences should be taken off INEC, so that it can face squarely the responsibility of managing election. That is even the core responsibility of INEC, rather than being distracted by the issue of having to prosecute electoral offences. And you could see, if they said since 2015 they've only managed to prosecute 60 electoral offences, many people don't even know that INEC has been able to do that much. And I've explained on other media platforms the rationale behind why there is a lot of foot dragging on the part of INEC. First, INEC do not have the power to make arrest. INEC do not have power to investigate. It only has prosecutorial power. So where do you go from there? The police makes the arrest, investigates, and pass the case file to INEC. And there is no timeline within which police have to do their investigation. So from 2019 elections now, many of those who culprits that were arrested, we don't know whether any of them has even been prosecuted. If we are talking of 2015 figures in 2022. But assuming without considering that's even a cumulative figure, it's still less than average. If you have about 125 cases and you have only prosecuted 60 is less than average of 125. But be that as it may, I want to express my own support to electoral offenses, establishment of electoral offenses commission, provided that the commission, when established, will be well resourced. Because one is for you to establish a commission. What about funding? And whatever is done, and mark you, this electoral offenses commission has even been passed by the Senate since last year, even before the passage of electoral bill last year. And the Senate has passed the Electoral Offenses Commission bill. Unfortunately, the House of Reps is just following suit, doing public hearing yesterday. But better late than never. What I know for certain is that even if this bill is passed by the two chambers, and we have the president signing it into law, the operationalization of that will not come until after the 2023 elections, because obviously, to set up a commission will take a much longer time than the time we have before the general elections. You're having technical issue. So by and large, what needs to be done now is let's have the Electoral Offenses Commission bill first and foremost. Then we can talk about pressurizing the government for implementation, because without deterrent, without us having a deterrent for those who commit electoral offenses, that will continue to encourage more people to adopt the Machiavellian principle of the end justifies the end justifies the means, and that is not good for us as a nation. We can't continue to have the election that is dominated by violence, or election that is plagued by vote trading, and these are two key malaise that our electoral system is battling with. So if it will take the establishment of Electoral Offenses Commission to effectively tackle that problem of electoral offenses or electoral malpractices, then let's do it. Otherwise, I think we need to strengthen INEC to be able to do better in terms of prosecution.
So we are looking up on INEC to bring a list of electoral offenders and then pass it to Electoral Offense Commission to do their duty.
That is not at this point. The stages we are now is to have the commission first. And when the commission is established, have an office, have budget, you can't do all of the things that is expected without funds.
So all these things, the previous offenders they are free from all these offenses they committed, because
they cannot be free. What they are saying is that it will just, if we have Electoral Offenses Commission now, what will happen is that those cases will not be transferred to them. Well, INEC will have to transfer the outstanding cases is yet to prosecute to the Electoral Offences Commission to run with it. But what we are saying is, let's pass the bill first. It has taken more than a year since the Senate passed the Electoral Offences Commission bill, and we need to fast track that and hoping that the president will sign the bill into law, and then we talk about funding, because funds is very key to because what is in contemplation of being set up is something similar to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, but only that this one would deal with political crime. This one would deal with issues around, elections, issues like vote buying, issues like committing electoral violence, issues around starting of ballot boxes, issues that are already criminalized by our Electoral Act. That is what the Electoral Offences Commission will be dealing with. But what I'm saying is that there is need to fast track, one, the passage of this bill; two, when it is passed, for the president to sign; three, when it is signed, for the president to also do the needful in terms of getting them office space, personnel, and then the running cost for them to be effective.
Okay. I believe we have Mr. Bodebo on air.
All right. Good morning, Mr. Ajire. Good morning,
Yeah,
viewers.
money.
Yeah. So sorry, we have to swap position today. Today you are in the studio, while I'm joining you remotely. Something you have done before. So, Mr.
Yeah.
Ojo, can you hear me? Let me take you back to the first newspaper on the show, talking about Nigeria's most influential newspaper, The Leadership. And if I heard you right, you are trying to say, why should editors, that's the Nigerian Guild of Editors and SERAP, sue President Muhammadu Buhari and the National Broadcasting Commission? I don't know if I'm right. Did I hear you right? Did I hear you right?
I said it's better to take the option of dialogue than litigations, because litigation is long drawn, and it may make the NBC to take drastic action of revoking the license of these broadcast stations.
All right. Now, Mr. Ojo, let me ask you one question on this before you proceed. Now, the NBC in the first place did not explore the option of dialogue with the affected radio and TV stations. Now, there are arguments in some quarters to say, well, most of these media houses are even going down financially. And there has never been a time when the government, provide lifeline for them. But the same government will provide lifeline for the banking sector, for the power sector, and other sector. But the media, which is also critical sector in a constitutional democracy, is being denied this lifeline. But now NBC found it easy to actually wield the big stick. I don't know. What is your thought about this school of thought that other sectors are enjoying lifeline from government, while the media is not? But the government found it easy to easily wield the big stick on the media.
I'd like to disagree with that. I recall that after the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria and the Newspaper Proprietors Association of Nigeria met with Minister of Information and Culture and sought lifeline for the media organizations. And I think there were some lifelines that were agreed upon. For instance, there was the reduction, I think, if my memory serves me right, reduction in the amount to be paid as operating licenses fee, and then moratorium was also given for those who are defaulters to pay up. So unless we are saying that the terms of that dialogue, the terms and conditions that was agreed to with the federal government of Nigeria was not adhered to. But I know that there was a bailout, there was a relief, there was a concession that was agreed on between the Broadcast Organization of Nigeria, the Newspaper Proprietors Association of Nigeria, and then the federal government of Nigeria. I recall that I read something to that effect around middle of last year or thereabout. But you can do a Google search to fact check me on this. And to say that the NBC did not explore the option of dialogue, I don't think it is the NBC that should have initiated that. It should have been the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria that should have, gone on behalf of these people, knowing full well that they sign on to payment of this payment of operating licenses and renewal of licenses. They sign on to it before they were allowed to start transmission. And if for peradventure you are defaulting, the best thing for you is to go back to your creditor and say, "Oga, please give us some more time. We are having a very bad business time." And so what I'm saying is that it's not for the NBC to initiate the dialogue. It is for the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria to have approached the NBC to say, because it's look at it this way, buddy. If others, it's not all of the media organizations that are defaulting. Some are striving to pay their operating license. I don't want to mention names. So if only 52 out of hundreds of these broadcasting stations are the ones that have defaulted. So if you say condone those 52 who have not paid, how do you think it will rub off on those who have squeezed themselves, possibly gone to take bank loan to be able to pay the renewal license for their operations? So we need to balance this. And I feel that, yes, let's explore the dialogue option rather than to be grandstanding and say you are going to court. Because you sign on before you are issued a license, operating license, you must have agreed to certain terms and conditions before you are allowed to operate. And those terms and conditions, when they are breached, definitely there will be sanctions that will follow.
All right, Mr. Ojo, because of want of time, you need to quickly proceed to the next newspaper.
So I believe we've heard everything our analyst said, and Mr. Bode too have also asked his own question from his end. And you, our audience, we implore you to get any of our dailies or any of the national dailies to read and then be informed. And then remember, the election is coming around. This is your time to exercise your rights, your obligation as a citizen, as a concerned citizen of this country. So go out there, get your dailies from any of your vendors. Even if you can't get from your vendors, you can visit us on our Facebook page or on our website at www.leadership.com.ng. Follow us and then make sure you are informed, because an informed society is a reformed society. Make sure you go about being a good citizen as you've always been. Have a nice day.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.